G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment and subscribe. And yes, you are here today because it is my pleasure and privilege to talk about just how incredibly crazy the game of rugby actually is. So first of all, I have to give credit where credit's due. Kieran Frawley, man, this guy is something. He's actually quite a talent, to be honest. He missed 2 drop goals which lost Leinster the Champions Cup final to Toulouse. I still remember. I thought it was like against England somehow. It was at Twickenham, but it wasn't against England. It was against Toulouse in the Champions Cup final. And he has clearly been practicing drop goals since then. And it has been a thing that probably haunted him in his dreams. And tonight, he had the opportunity to redeem himself. And he landed 2 drop goals. The 2 that he missed for the Champions Cup final in a bigger match, bigger stage, away from home, in front of 65,000, 45 million South Africans booing at him, and he still managed to pull it off with quite a confidence. So really well done, Kieran Frawley, and this guy. Wow, what a huge future ahead of him. And yeah, now we're going to talk about something a bit more controversial. I know everybody says that I am biased. So first of all, regarding the referee's performance, Carl Dixon, I thought there were some pretty bad calls both ways, okay? So I'm not going to complain too much about that. You know, I know there's a high shot against Marco van Staden later in the game that could have been a penalty, but there was earlier a accidental knock-on forward, which was a penalty to the Springboks. There's a lot of little things that goes both ways, so I'm just gonna, you know, I don't keep count of those. I think it eventually evens out. But the one thing is that whoever's in the bunker that made the decision that Cealan Doris was only a yellow card offense when he attacked the leg, the injured, the leg, the fresh leg of the injury, by the way, on Malcolm Marx was just a yellow card. That was a disgraceful decision. Okay, first of all, the turtle roll has been banned. Now, I always maintain that the turtle roll is not actually that dangerous. It is dangerous when someone tries to land on your leg when the turtle roll is applied. And that's exactly what we saw tonight. Well, if you're landing on someone's leg. By the way, there's 2 different penalties here. The turtle roll is a new penalty that's just been added in July this year. So that's a penalty against number 5. I think it was who was it? The other guy. And then the other penalty is against the other thing, which is attacking of the lower limbs, has been in the laws for probably a year now, for a while now actually. You cannot land yourself on someone's leg to attack, drop your weight on someone's leg deliberately to attack the leg. Now, I don't know why that's just a yellow card, because if that's the case, if you deliberately try to attack someone's leg to hurt somebody, it should be a red card. There's no argument, there's no mitigating factors. If you accidentally land on somebody, it should just be not a penalty. If you land on somebody deliberately, which is the case that warrants a send-off, it should be a red card. And I don't know how they conclude that to be a yellow. And that is absolutely one of the most disgraceful decisions I've ever seen. And so it's either nothing at all, and you penalize the person that did the croc roll, or it's a deliberate landing and weight on someone's leg, and it's a red card. There's no yellow in this. It's either nothing or a red card. I don't know how they conclude this to be in yellow. So let's have a look at this as well. This was and yeah, I know some of you guys may say, oh, clearly he didn't deliberately land himself on the leg. Well, he did. See here, right? We're gonna see. He literally looks at the leg right here. He's looking at the leg. We're going to see this from another angle because you might be saying, oh, he's not actually looking at the leg. He's literally looking at the leg right now. He lets go. He lets go of the top hand. And you can see he's still looking at the leg. Drops his weight onto it. I don't know how that's not a red card. In any sense. It's a deliberate attempt to hurt somebody. And you can see this from another angle. We can see this from another angle very soon. Okay, so we can see that from this angle. There's absolutely no doubt that he's looking at the leg. Because you can see from this other angle his entire head, his entire body, he's literally looking at that leg right now. He's definitely did not see it. It's definitely not the case where he's not looking at the leg. He didn't see it. He missed it. He's looking at the leg and he dropped his weight onto it. This should be a red card. And that is probably the worst. That is by far the worst decision out there tonight. Everything else Kyle Dixon did, I'm happy to let all of it go because it's 50-50. That is 100% a red card. Whoever's in the bunker, it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Let's move on to that. Another thing that I'm really glad that the referees has caught on is that the fact that in the scrummaging, teams are not holding their weight on engagement and they're just pulling back, leading the opposition to come forward, and it looks like the opposition has pushed early. Now, this is not just a thing in Ireland, okay? I'm not actually trying to smash Ireland here. This is something that's been going on in the Rugby World Cup. This is a thing that's been ongoing. But the thing is, the South Africans actually done really well to defend this, to counteract this. So what happened is when a team, when they fold, right? When the forwards fold, the mistake that a lot of team tries to make is that instead of just let the scrum fall over, they try to stay up by chasing their feet forward, and it looks like you are pushing early, right? So the way to deal with this and to make it very obvious that the opposition is pulling back is to not chase your feet. And you can just see that the opposition is folding back and you're folding over because they're not holding the weight. And you can see very clearly here. See, he's just literally folded himself in, and Steenekamp, if you look very closely, almost fell for the trap by chasing his full forward. You can see his leg, right, twitching forward just a little bit because it's your natural instinct to try to catch yourself falling over. And if he had done so, if he actually tried to chase his foot forward, that would have been actually potentially a penalty against the Springboks for early push. And that's exactly what the Irish wanted to do, to bait you through, right? Some very, very clever stuff. And you can see, watch your right leg here. See how he actually chased a little bit, right? And then he realized, hang on, I shouldn't be chasing because the opposition is not holding their weight. If he had just gone forward, then he would have looked like he's pushed early. So really, really close stuff there. But he definitely got caught. Finlay Billon definitely got caught there. And it's really good to see that the referees actually caught up on that. Now, outside of those, I thought the Irish had a really clever game plan as well. So it was really unfortunate. Willie LaRue got head knocked immediately from the kickoff. Like I said, body were falling over left and right. And Sasha Ngomezulu was on the field. Fangberg Ngomezulu was on the field. And he had a shocking first half. Like, he was really mistimed on a lot of those high balls. And Ireland would do this really clever strategy. They would pull everybody to the left-hand side of the field, leaving Sasha on the right-hand side with no one blocking the high ball. And they would put a crossfield kick straight onto him. And he was just left wide open. And he was missing the timing a little bit there. Second half, much, much better by Sasha. The counter-attacking the high ball was much safer as well. Especially the counter-attacking was super, super impressive. The kicking game was probably a little bit off still, and some of the decision-making on the kicks was probably not there, but still very, very promising just based on the way he carried the ball forward. Another huge key tackle is the breakdown tonight as well. Both teams were extremely good at the breakdowns and extremely disciplined at the defense. So either it was just literally no one was really moving anywhere and just trying to hoping for a penalty. Later in the second half, the game was very stale in the first half against the Springboks. Ireland was, Springboks. Second half, he actually opened up a little bit more when the Springboks decided to go back to more of a kicking style and playing the right territories and getting those penalties from the pressure place. So I actually think that the Springboks actually has two options here. They probably need a better attacking coach because of the way the Springboks attacking is just basically get someone to crash the ball as flat as possible and try to get over the advantage line immediately. I just don't think that works nowadays in international test matches because the fact that the defense is so disciplined. You're not going to get the penalty just by crashing immediately, constantly, and you're not going to go any form of momentum out of that. So it's just too good and defense too disciplined to get those penalties consistently. So you really needed to really change up the game a little bit with, some offloading, some deeper play, some over the long balls and all that sort of stuff. And I think that, if you look at the Irish actually started giving away a bit more penalties when they had a play in the bin. But if you look at test teams nowadays, like even the Wallabies again or the All Blacks, they're both down like single digits in terms of penalties given away. And if you play, the All Blacks, you're only going to get maybe 2 shots at a goal in the kicking range out of 6 or 7 penalties given out, maybe 3 kicks a goal. let's say, and that out of 6-7 penalties that's given out in the entire game, how are you going to win? Like mathematically, you're just not going to be able to keep up in the scoreboard. So I think Springboks really have to look at something more of an option in terms of the attack there and try to open up the defense a little bit. The kicking game is one of the options, but if they wanted to not shift away from the kicking game, which is something they've been trying to do recently, they need to look at different options there. And also the set piece, I was a little bit disappointed that Springbok didn't go for the maul a bit more. And again, another weapon that almost reluctant to be used. And outside of that, I thought, the Irish as well, they didn't really use the maul that much as well. Outside of that, the scrummaging was really, really good for the Springboks. Ox Uncha got a couple good penalties there. The Irish, like I said as well, outside of the little bit of gamesmanship and the shenanigans, was pretty good in scrum. Was able to hold their own in most of the scrummaging as well. Wasn't complete a blowout for the man that does not eat salad. And pretty big performance by the Irish, especially that clutch play at the end. And it is what it is. And I think we have to look forward looking. We can't be dwelling on the bad decisions by the referee or TMO or whatnot. The one thing that I have to say, credit to Frawley, right? He's missed two drop goals, and he's did extra work off the field, and he managed 2 drop goals tonight. How many drop goals did the Springboks miss against the All Blacks in the Rugby World Cup final? I think it was 3. Cealan Kobia had one, Paula had one, maybe Willemse had one at some point. 2 or 3, at least. At least there was definitely one. And I think it might be 2 or 3 against England. I can't remember, but there was definitely one from Cealan Kobia that missed, right? So why hasn't the Springboks taken that on board as a sign that they need to improve on the drop goals? Why hasn't Springbok done so? Whereas the Irish has taken the warning that they need drop goals to win tight matches and done the work to rectify that. And the Springboks, the fact that they won the World Cup, has not followed up on that lack of ability to hit drop goals. Just something to think about for the future instead of dwelling on the past. So hopefully that's another area that Rassie Rasmus picks up going into the Rugby Championship for the Springboks. Now, let's move on to the stats of the game. 1 choice for the Ireland. Springboks had more rugby, just control the game really well. But like I said, they were running just very, very basic stuff. Crash ball as flat as possible. Not really getting too much out of that. 335 run meters to the Ireland 209. There was a couple good line breaks here and there, but mostly was just, very one-dimensional. 20 turnovers against the Irish, 12 against the Springboks. Really well done once again. Just the pressure, the breakdown. Clearly, you can tell that is the strategy for the Springboks. But like I said, it's just not quite enough to get you all the penalties that you want from the breakdowns, especially against very, very top-level international test teams. 50 missed tackles for the Springboks, brilliant defense, out of 122. 21 missed tackles from Ireland, out of 117. 30 kicks in play for the Springboks, 36 for Ireland, and 100% goal kicking by Hunter Pollard, up from 60%. So he averages 75% now, so that's kind of good, I guess. So that's 100% from Ireland as well, with 2 drop goals by Frawley. Really, really well done. And the lineouts, 3 lineouts lost out of 14 for the Springboks. 1 lineout lost for the Irish. Like, there was one line where I thought, I was like, clearly he what's his name? Rob Heron booked it, and the Springboks got penalized for moving in too close early. Again, 50-50 calls. Who cares? That's not the issue. The issue is that there are things that you have to improve. That's what you have to look for. You're gonna look at what you can do to do better, not the things you can't control. 2 scrum loss to the Incha burger, to the Incha no vegan burger, so which was really good. 8 penalties only given away by the Springboks. Really well done. 11 penalties against the Irish. A lot of those were given out when they had 14 players on the field due to the yellow card. And like I said, only 5 inside the Springbok half, and the Irish had to come another way to win the game. Drop goals, and something that the Springboks has been putting aside since the Rugby World Cup. So with that being said, let's quickly recap the game. And So yeah, the game, like I said, started really. The first half wasn't that great for the Springboks. And people will start bleeding already. Like, look, 2 minutes in the game, Moster got a cut, Eben Esbeth got a cut, like Vili LaRue got taken off for HRA all within like 10 minutes. And then I think the Irish lost a couple players as well to HRAs. Everybody was just taken off. Like half the team just got taken off already, right? Like less than 10 minutes. It was just that brutal. Just huge hits on the field, left and right. 6 minutes into the game, there was an offside penalty. Springboks kicked the first 3 points. There was like two-man line out for the Irish. Yeah, 2-man plus the halfback, I guess. I think it was Irish for the Springboks. Either way, it was quite interesting to see. Anyway, technically 2-man line out. 13 minutes into the game, really nice play from the first 3 points was kicked by Ireland. My bad. The first point was kicked by Ireland. 13 minutes into the game, Springboks again defensively was having a bit of an issue. There was a nice little post-contact offload from Crowley, a little inside short ball to Osborne, who ran through a little gap. Nice offloads between the field support players. Eventually, Conor Murray got the ball to him, ran in for the first try for Ireland. Suddenly, the scoreboard is 10 points to 0, and Springboks, everybody's looking like they're a little shell-shocked, not really know what to do. 17 minutes into the game, the big scrum delivers for the Springboks, getting the first penalty, and they take in 3 points. 3 points to the 10, and it's Ox Incherberger was just the getting under Ty Furlong and getting that penalty through. There was James Lowe again was really deceptively difficult to tackle this game, making a lot of really dangerous moves here and there. The Irish was penalised at 24 minutes for walking around in the scrum due to, again, pressure from Incher's side. Just really, really well done. Just staying solid, letting the opposition, shift, and that led to a penalty. Really well done. And after this, there was a lot of just, the defense of both teams were not really breaking. Like everybody was just like doing very basic stuff and drowning into each other. Finally, took about 33 minutes into the game for the Springboks to get another scrum penalty. Incher is just doing double shifts. Another win in the scrummaging. They kick another 3, 6 points to 10. Now, just before halftime, there was 36 minutes of the game. They were at this point, it's very clear and obvious the Irish was targeting Sasha with a high ball, and there was an obstruction against Peter Septutoy, who walks into a defender attack, like a guy that was chasing the ball, and there was another kickable penalty for Ireland, so they take another 3, 13 points to 6, Ireland. And just before halftime, there was some really nice play. There was from the kickoff, the ball went too far and into the end zone, so it was a 50-meter scrum. And then following that scrum, there was a nice kick down the sideline. And I think who was it? That was James Lowe kicked the ball down the sideline and he tackled Pollard in goal, which led to a 5-meter scrum. This was so dangerous for the Springboks. If this was a try, led into a try, the Springboks would have been really in big trouble. So Ireland following the scrum, just build pressure. Got a penalty right in front of the goalpost. And I think the Springboks was probably pretty grateful that Ireland only took 3 points here going into halftime, 16 points to 6. Second half starts much better from the Springboks. The Sasha was much better on the field as well, just really playing a little bit looser, just really getting his timing right. There was a penalty 40 minutes into the second half. 100 Pollard kicked this one, 9 points to 16. Faf Gluck gets taken off of HIA. That was just everybody was taken off. 47 minutes in, the big yellow card decision, as I showed you. There should be a red. Like, there shouldn't be a yellow. When you attack someone's leg, should just be straight up red. It's a deliberate attempt to injure somebody. How hard can this be? So that was red. Anyway, we're going to talk about this. Let's moving on. So I guess you can. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It should just be a red card. Anyway, let's move on to from this point already. There was a really brilliant counterattack after this from Sasha, and he really just opened up the game. It's a good kicking game as well. And I was like, finally, the first half really made him look quite average. Finally, he looked more like Damien Willemse with that performance, come out of the sheds in the second half. There was 51 minutes in the game. There was an offside penalty against James Ryan under the pressure. 15 points to 16. 100 Pollard kicked this one. And then there was 5 minutes later, 56 minutes into the game, another nice run by Achilles Snyman A nice little offload between the Springboks, got really close to try line, and then another penalty right in front of the goalpost. 100 kick this one, putting Springboks ahead, 18 points to 16. 57 minutes into the game, I think it was Wildkard Smith playing the ball on the ground. Penalty for Ireland, 18 points to 19. 59 minutes into the game. This is one where I thought was a little bit hard against Ireland. There was a high ball, and it looked like Sasha actually knocked the ball backwards to his own, like towards the Springbok side, and it was caught by an Irish player. Referee deemed that this was touched. This was a knocked forward, so like a knock forward from an Irish player to a player in front of him. So again, even if that is the case, that should be an accidental knock, accidental offside, and it should just be a scrum. But anyway, the referee deemed that was a penalty offense, even though I thought it looked like Sasha had touched the ball. But anyway, so that was a tough decision against Ireland there. The Springboks taking the 3, 21 points to 19. 61 minutes into the game, Grant Williams, nice, beautiful kick. He was just 10 meters out from his own try line. He punked the ball down the field and just huge effort chasing the ball. The ball just rolled down the sideline essentially, got into the 22, and Williams got there, made the tackle on, I think it was Frowley, and got the 22-meter line out for the Springboks, but Springboks could not capitalize further. There was 67 minutes into the game. The Irish had another penalty. This was kickable. They decided to go for the try. This was a clear intent to win the game. There were 4 points behind on this. They went for the try. They couldn't quite get it. And eventually, they were held up over the try line. Springboks taking the goal line dropout. Frowley says, we'll take the 3 points. Regardless, hits a drop goal from 40 meter out. Really, really well done. 24 points to 12. 24 points to 22 from that drop goal. And then, this is starting to become a real test match, and both teams are starting to get a bit impatient. Lots of bit of stupid kicking for both teams. 77 minutes in the game, I thought Van Staden got a high shot. 50-50 from before, evens out, whatever. And then finally, this was a big mistake, I think, from Sacha. He's going to think about this all night, maybe. There was a crossfield kick from Ireland that was going to go out. Sacha caught the ball just before he went out. Safe play, says the commentary, but it really was not necessary to catch that. He already blocked off any defender that was going to catch the ball from his running line legally. And that was led to an Irish line-out. And I knew it was going to be a drop goal because there was a lot of whispering to everybody, right? Lots of whispering. And then, sure enough, the ball went out to Frowley again. Yeah, another 40-something plus meter drop goal. Winning the game. Really well done. 25 points to 24. Yeah. What's in your head? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Cheers.